I'm already a millionaire in my mind. I don't see it yet, but I believe it now. In the same way a seed is called by its finished form, I'm accepting my divine inheritance as a child of God. I'm meant to have life and have it more abundantly. My treasure on earth shall correspond directly to the treasure in the heaven of my mind. Abundance is my birthright. Ashe, amen, and so it is. My name is Julian Gordon, and I'm author of Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. After becoming a multimillionaire through real estate investing, I was moved by God at the beginning of the pandemic to share my money mindset that allowed me to quit my job in January of 2009 at the bottom of the last recession and achieve full financial freedom. I own my mental real estate before I own any physical real estate. This book is like some of your favorites: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and the Bible all in one. But the divine downloads and thoughts that are in here are 100% original and came for a 6-month period at the beginning of the pandemic. This book is normally $100 on Amazon if you went there right now, but I want to give you access to it for free by inviting you to our next reading group. Yes, the reading group is 100% free. Every weekday for 100 days straight, I'll be reading and discussing the 10 money commandments in the book that make money come to you in your life easily, more frequently, and abundantly. And it will take about 30 to 45 minutes as we read 3 to 5 pages per day until we finish the book and reprogram your mind around money. Why 100 days? Well, if you are 30 years old, you've lived for 10,950 days. And we have to deprogram and reprogram the negative, scarcity-based money mindset society has taught you. And I believe I can do that in just 1% of the time in about 100 days. I'm done with shelf help. You know, when you buy a book to change your life, but you never read it, it just sits on your bookshelf and collects a whole bunch of dust. We off that. When is the last time you had an author actually read their book to you out loud because they cared about you getting the information in your soul? I'm not just here to get this book in your hands. More importantly, I want to get it in your head and your heart, because that's where the real transformation occurs, in the conscious and the subconscious mind. As scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not the type of book that you just read once. To renew the subconscious mind requires repetition over and over and over. So if you joined us last time, I encourage you to join us again. I myself have read this book over 10 times already. So click the link to join our next reading group, and when you sign up, I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of the book for absolutely free on what is money and abundance is your birthright, so that you can start your journey to a more abundant life today.
What's good, everybody? This is your boy Fabian coming back at you with another day of the reading of the Rich and Righteous. If you're new and this is your first time, welcome. Please go back and check out the previous readings. You have just stepped into the 100-day challenge of the reading of the Rich and Righteous, where we are reading this book to reprogram our minds to attract more money. We're on day 45. Day 45. Man, we're moving right along. Day 45 pretty much is a continuation of our reading from yesterday. Yesterday, we started the role of man in the manifestation process. If you're new and you don't have a book, I have a link in the description section of the post. Go ahead and click that link, man, and get you a book. Even after this chapter is over, you're going to want to have this book in your arsenal. It's definitely going to help you reprogram your mind to attract more money and just help you move and navigate through life more efficiently. And go ahead and like and subscribe to the page so you can get these alerts as we continue on with our journey of finishing out the book. But without further ado, man, y'all know how we do. Make sure we pay attention, because at the end of the reading, I need those takeaways. Those takeaways let you know and let me know what you received out of the reading. That's the whole point of us being here. This is not for entertainment. We are trying to get something out of the reading. That's why I established this book club. And we're going to go ahead and get started with day 45. Remember, day 44, we started the role of man in manifestation. It was a lengthy section, so we're continuing today with the role of man in manifestation. Day 45. Let's go.
All right. That's the PWWP framework. For those of you whose books are in the mail, go ahead and just take a screenshot of this, right? Okay, that's the PWWP framework. So remember, the PWWP framework, this is how all manifestation occurs. It is plant, water, weed, and prune. Everybody type that. Plant, water, weed, prune. Plant, water, weed, and prune. Plant, water, weed, and prune. That is the framework for manifestation, and the visual will really anchor that in for you when you see that, okay? For those of you who are on YouTube right now or on Instagram, please like and share this video. Please like and share this video so that we can get this wealth consciousness out to as many people as possible. It costs you nothing to just go like this with your finger. I don't beg. I'm a child of God. I don't beg for anything. And so that is my singular ask. That is my singular, genuine ask in support of how this work is impacting your life. If any of these readings have impacted your life, if today you know you're going to be blessed, then please just hit that like and share button. And if you're on YouTube, if there's a subscribe button there as well, I think if you subscribe to the channel, that would be a blessing to me. All right? Beautiful. So we're on page 308. Let's get into it. So first one is plant, which is you as the gardener, you choose the thought seed to plant. You choose the thought seed to plant. The first step in the process is the conscious mind choosing which seed thoughts to plant and give attention and energy to. Okay, so you are consciously choosing the seed thoughts. Now, there are thoughts always running through your mind, right? This is why meditation is so important, because we want to bring those thoughts to, we want to quiet those thoughts so that we can hear directly from the source. Okay, so the first step in this process is the conscious mind choosing which seed thoughts to plant and give attention and energy to. We know that thoughts are the seeds of the mind. Okay, so anytime you hear Jesus have a metaphor or a parable about a seed, I want you to translate that word into thought. So when seed falls on hard rock, what does that mean? That means the seed is falling upon a hard head. And so if you're trying to get an idea into a hard head, it will not take root. So anytime you see Jesus talk about seeds, it is a parable to reference thought. And the soil is our mind. Our subconscious mind is the soil. And if that soil is not fertile, then whatever seeds are planted inside of it will not grow. Everybody type seed equals thought. Everybody type seed equals thought. Seed equals thought. I need everybody to type that. Seed equals thought. All right, good. We know that thoughts are seeds of the mind. When packaged, seeds are named after their finished form, not their first form. Seeds are named after their finished form, not their first form. The package of a tomato seed, the package of tomato seed says tomatoes with a picture of ripe red tomato on it, not a picture of tomato seeds. Okay? We must imagine the thought seed in its full glory, not its beginning stage. You must imagine the thought seed in its full glory, not its beginning stage. Begin with the end in mind. Our conscious mind is exposed to various thought seeds based on our levels of consciousness, and it can choose which seeds it will intentionally plant into the darkness of the mind's subconscious soil. Divine downloads from God that come from moments of inspiration, insight, or intuition tend to get planted the deepest and bear the most fruit because of the emotion paired with them. Given this understanding, I want to read the parable of the sower, and then I will break it down for you in hopes to offer you a new perspective. Matthew 13, 1-9 reads, "A farmer went out to sow his seed, and he was scattering the seed. Some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seeds fell among the thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still, other seeds fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, and 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear." Right? That is the parable of the sower. The farmer or the gardener is you. The farmer or the gardener is you. The seeds are good or God's thoughts. So this is you accessing thought from divine mind. So if you've ever been inspired, inspiration means in spirit, means that God is communicating to you, right? You're getting inspiration, you're getting spirit inside of you, okay? The path and rocky places represent the hard-headed, egoic mind that is always on defense in an effort to protect you and keep you safe and small, though it is actually cutting you off from success. Okay, that is the rocky place, the path and rocky places. The thorns are the painful, not aligned, incongruent beliefs in the subconscious mind that create inner resistance and rise up against any new thoughts. That those who have ears hear, family. The good soil is the fertile, ready to receive subconscious mind that lovingly accepts the seed and works 24/7 to help it unfold. And the crop is the manifestation or good fruit you desire to taste in your life. So the first step in being a gardener, a great gardener, is making sure that your subconscious mind, the soil, is ready to receive the good seed that God has given to you. Everybody type ready to receive. Everybody type ready to receive. Ready to receive. I see some people's mind just got blown. I see some people's minds just got blown. See, you've been reading the Bible literally. Jesus said he only spoke in parables. So we have to decode the parables. And so what we're doing is we're decoding by saying, oh, seed equals thought. Soil equals subconscious mind. Rock means egoic mind or hard head. Thorns mean incongruent thoughts that push against what I actually deeply desire. If your mind was blown by that decoding, please give me a mind blown emoji. If your mind was blown by that, it's simple to me because of where I'm at from a level of consciousness. But if your mind was blown by that decoding, you had never heard it that way, then give me a mind blown emoji. Okay. This is beautiful. Okay. So now we're going on to stage 2, water. And guess what? The entire Bible is written like that, family. It is one of the greatest heavily coded books in the entire world. Not one of, it is the greatest and most heavily coded book. And once you learn to read it through that lens, okay? So, number 2, water. When we're watering something, we're giving attention and energy to it. Once a seed thought is planted into the subconscious mind's fertile soil, we must nurture it by giving it repeated, frequent, constant attention and energy, just as the sun does to facilitate photosynthesis. The sun is constantly giving a seed energy, even in the darkness, okay? Remember that one of the best ways to reprogram the subconscious mind is through repetition. So consistency is key. And we've talked about the importance of consistency as a form of belief. When you're consistent with something, you actually believe in it. If you're inconsistent with something, you don't believe in it yet, okay? Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? Matthew 26:40. Controlling your attention and energy are disciplines that the disciples Jesus took to the Garden of Gethsemane didn't have. Listen to me. Controlling your attention and energy are disciplines that the disciples Jesus took to the Garden of Gethsemane did not have. They could not keep watch for an hour. They could not keep their attention, to keep watch, to give attention. They could not keep it for an hour. Keep watch means to keep your attention and conscious thought on the seed thought, even if you can't see it yet. This is not worrisome, anxious, or impatient energy that thinks, why is nothing happening? Why is it, when is it going to pop? Why is this not working? That kind of energy plants a divine idea and minutes later uproots it because it doesn't see anything happen. So some of you have started businesses and multiple ideas, and because it wasn't popping, because it didn't manifest or bear fruit in the timeline that you made up, your man-made timeline, you start uprooting it. And now it's on to the next idea and the next idea and the next idea. And I was guilty of that too. My first book, 8-Cylinder Success, How to Find Your Life's Purpose, right? It was probably equally powerful. as this. Actually, this is really powerful. Okay. But it was a powerful book. But because it didn't just take off on some bestseller chart, I stopped putting energy into it. And I moved on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And I realized if I would have just kept giving that singular book energy in the same way that I'm doing here, that book would have reached more and more people. All right. So this is an example, and I'm accepting this. Everything that I'm sharing with you has been part of my journey, and these are lessons learned. Okay. I don't stand in front of you as perfect. All of these are lessons that I've learned along the way that I'm bringing back to you. And you can see the difference between the impact of my first book and the impact of this book because of the lessons that I've learned. We're on page 310 now. Okay. Remember what we covered in regard to your to vision boards. As the light of the world, a son of God, S-U-N, you can think you are giving the thought seed energy, but you may be focused on the absence of the desired manifestation instead of the presence of it. See, many of us are using vision boards in the wrong way. The vision board actually on a daily basis is reminding you of the absence of the thing. This is why it's not coming. The purpose of a vision board is to remind you of the presence of it, that it is already here, even if it's just in your subconscious mind, even if you can't see it yet, that thing is already here in your experience. It's already here. Guess what, family? The car that you want is already here. It's already here. Your significant other, they are already here. They've already been born. They've already been born. They are already here somewhere. So you just have to tap into a certain frequency and stay in that frequency long enough to start to attract those things. But they are already here. There's nothing new under the sun. From the outside looking in, they both look like focus. But the question is, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the absence of it or the presence of it? Are you focused on the absence or the presence? And the word absence, look at this, family. You know I break down these words, the etymology. Absence. The prefix ab means away or without. So together it means without your five senses. Absence means that I can't feel it with my five senses. That's what absence means. Okay? Just because your five senses can't perceive something doesn't mean it's not there. I told you yesterday when we were talking about Jesus and being crucified at Golgotha, which means place of the skull. It means that the crucifixion happens in our skull, family. It happens right here. And Jesus, when you look at the three crosses, Jesus is always the one in the center that's elevated. That's your third eye. The two robbers are right here. These are the two robbers. Your eyes are the two robbers. You are living your experience based on these two things, based on what they can see and what they can. I gotta see it to believe it. How many ever said that? I gotta see it to believe it. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to see it to believe it. In fact, it's the other way around. You have to believe it in order to see it. Because if you are out here and you say all men are dogs, there's no good men out here, then you don't believe it. Therefore, even if a good man approaches you, you won't be able to see him. You thought you needed to see 100 or 1,000 examples of good men for you to believe it? No, it's the opposite. You have to believe that a good man exists first in order to even see him when he walks in front of you. And vice versa for the brothers or those who love women. Okay? So, in the word absence, the prefix ab means away or without. So together it means without your five senses. Just because your five senses can't perceive something doesn't mean it is not there. Listen to me. The visible light that human beings can see only makes up 0.0035% of the entire rainbow of wavelengths that exists. You all get excited when there's a rainbow. We're still only seeing a fraction of visible light. Corinthians 4:18 says, fix your eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. We are here uncovering these unseen universal laws that actually govern our physical experience. Again, gravity, the law of gravity is not something you can see, right? But we know that it is an operation based on its effect in our lives. You go try to jump off of the third story of a building, you're going to experience gravity. So you can't see it. So gravity is a law, a physical law that you can't touch. It is a physical law that you cannot touch. So we have to understand the unseen laws that govern this entire reality that we're in. And to the extent that we understand those laws, the more we can play and have fun in this experience. In the word presence, listen to this. In the word presence, we just did absence. In the word presence means pre-sense. Presence means pre-sense. The prefix pre means prior to, in advance of, or beforehand. So together it means sensing or feeling it is here and happening before your five senses can. You are having the experience before your five senses can. You're having it in your mind through your imagination. You can go travel to Jamaica right now in this moment. You can ride in that Rolls Royce right now in this moment. You can take a tour through your dream house right now in this moment. You can get into that feeling vibration right now, even if you're not there. The pre-sense, I'm experiencing it before my five senses. I'm getting ahead of my five senses. And eventually I will experience it in the fourth dimension, which is our five senses. You have to see it in your head and believe it in your heart. Okay, you have to see it in your head and believe it in your heart before you receive it in your hand. You have to see it in your head, believe it in your heart before you can receive it in your hand. If you are feeling fear, doubt, and worry, and it means that you are focused on the absence because you can't see it with your physical eyes. And when you focus on absence, you get absence because you're uprooting the seed thought you planted. If you are feeling faith, love, patience, it means that you are focusing on the presence. Even though you can't see it with your physical eyes, you can see it becoming with your mind's eye. And when you are present and focus on the presence, it must listen to this. It must represent itself. Represent. Because you've already had it up here. So when you actually experience it with the five senses, it's only representing itself back to you. It's representing itself back to you because you've already experienced it in your mind. Okay? It must represent itself in your material reality. First, it matters in the heaven of your mind. Oh, this really matters to me. This cause really matters to me. This idea really matters to me. So it must matter in the heaven of your mind, and then it materializes in your experience on earth. So you only get really what matters to you. So it matters in the heaven of your mind, and then it matter or materializes in your experience on earth. We are keeping watch in our mind's eye, not with our two eyes. This is a believing energy that has 100% faith in God and the universal laws God established for all of creation. We can imagine the unfoldment in our mind as if it's already real. We know that soon enough, there will be 100% alignment on earth, our material experience, as it is in heaven, our mental experience, right? Scripture says, on earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven. That means that we're supposed to bringing heaven down to earth. We're supposed to be bringing the greatest good that we can see for ourselves and others, which is in heaven, on earth. Heaven is not something that's supposed to be after you die. It is actually something that we get to co-create right here and right now when we take these divine ideas out of our head and we actually materialize them. We take the things that matter to us and we turn them into physical matter. We don't measure manifestation based on worldly time. We trust in divine timing and stay ready. A Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. It has been watered. It takes 5 years to grow. It has to be watered and fertilized in the ground where it has been planted every day. It doesn't break through the ground for 5 years. After 5 years, once it breaks through the ground, it can grow up to 90 feet tall in 5 weeks. So this seed was actually underground for 5 years, but then in 5 weeks, all of a sudden popped off. So you see these one-hit wonders, or you see these overnight successes? No. There are many sleepless nights that you didn't see, that they don't tell in their story. And then what you saw was when it popped. It wasn't an overnight success, right? It was not an overnight success. After 5 years, once it breaks through the ground, it can grow up to 90 feet tall in 5 weeks. So 5 years underground, and then in 5 weeks, boom. This is faith matched with works and prayer coupled with action. The longer you believe, the deeper the roots. So your belief actually just deepens the roots. And when the roots are deeper, guess what? You can grow higher. The deeper the roots, the better the fruits. And when you are seeking, when what you are seeking manifests on earth. We wait with a certain anticipation, not an uncertain anxiousness. We wait with a certain anticipation that I know this is coming to me. Thy kingdom come, thy queendom come. We wait with certain anticipation, not an uncertain anxiousness. All right. Number 3. Now we must weed. As the guard enters, we must weed. What does weeding look like? Weeding looks like keeping negative thoughts away. So we planted the seed, right? We're now watering it and giving it attention and energy. Now we must weed out and keep out the negative thoughts. Okay. We're on page 312. The next step of manifestation is weeding. Matthew 24, 42 through 43 says, watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up. So what do we know about the word house? What is the code for the word house in the Bible? Or at least in metaphors and parables by Jesus. What does the word house mean? What does house mean? House equals mind. So when it says a house divided against itself can't stand, that means that a double-minded person, one person who says that they want to be rich, but they hate the rich people, that's a double-minded person. So house in the parable represents the mind. So does temple, okay? So we're talking about guarding our house, our mind, so that the thieves don't come in, steal the seeds that were planted and the house is broken up. The guard inner must keep the negative thoughts of fear, doubt, worry, and scarcity out of the garden, or else they will take the thought energy, the original seed, take the thought energy the original seed thought needs to grow to its full potential. It takes time for a thought to take root, depending on how fertile and receptive the soil of the subconscious mind is. The depth of its roots in the heaven of the subconscious mind will determine the height it can grow on earth. So the reason the multifamily movement, this rich and righteous movement is growing, why? Because my belief is deep. And I keep deepening that belief so that the movement can grow even greater. And then when we add in all of your collective beliefs, now our roots are expanding and spreading, and the potential for what we're creating, the wealthiest family in the world, keeps on growing up. We may not see the manifestation upward yet. We know that this can take 30 to 50 years, right? But we are deepening our belief. We're not just working on surface level things. Here's how to buy real estate. You know, I love that. Here's how to do this. Here's how to buy stocks. Here's how to do this. Here's how to do that. We're not just working on the surface level stuff. We're deepening our belief and the awareness that we are children of God and that abundance is our birthright. As the ideas start to take root and unfold, the conscious mind can now split its attention between the original seed thought and weed thoughts. So everybody type seed thought and weed thought. Everybody type seed thought and weed thought. Everybody type seed thought and weed thought. We have to be able to discern the two. Seed thought and weed thought. Sometimes weeds look like plants, and we can try to harvest what has come up too fast. And other times we can mistake weeds that sprout up before the seed we planted does as failure. I want you to be aware in advance that weeds will arise. I need you to know negative thoughts will arise. I want you to be aware of that in advance so they're not surprising to you when they arise. There will always be scavengers that like to feed off of anything with life. It's normal and natural, family. So don't get mad at it. It's normal and natural for scavengers to emerge. There's some entities and energy and individuals that operate as scavengers. We pray that they elevate out of that consciousness, but they will just be there. And that's okay. You expect them now. Matthew 12:26-30 reads, so when the plant came up and bore grain, then the weeds appeared also. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seeds in your field? Right? Your field is the subconscious. How then does it have weeds? He said to them, an enemy has done this. So the servants said to him, then do you want us to go and gather them? But he said, no, lest in gathering the weeds you uproot the wheat along with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at harvest time, I will tell the reapers, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. Listen to me, family. These churches have taught you the wrong thing. There's no devil outside of you. There's no red man with spiky ears and a spiky tail and a pitchfork. There's no entity outside of you. The enemy is not an outside force. It is our inner me. The enemy is our inner me. How could there be something separate from God? How could there be a force against God if God is all? Our shrinking thinking can be our worst enemy. One negative thought, like fear of failure or impatience, can cause you to uproot the entire good seed and hinder an entire harvest. But the thought is in you. It's not outside of you. We must be careful when weeding not to throw out the baby with the bathwater. While you want to keep most of your energy on the thought you are seeking to manifest, some thought energy must be dedicated to observing the weeds and making sure they don't hurt your harvest. We observe the weeds and focus on the seeds. So we are observing the weeds, right, in a general sense, but we are focused in terms of our energy on the seed, the good seed. Observation, okay, is dispersed energy. So I know that this is my field right here. This is my mind that I'm looking at, and I'm just observing. And I see that. I see you, little weed over there. I see you, little weed over there. I see you trying to come up. I see you trying to mess up my harvest. I see you over here, but it's general, okay? It's dispersed. Whereas focused energy is concentrated. This is the seed that I'm trying to grow. This is where the energy is going. I'm blessing that seed. I'm giving it energy. I'm nurturing it. Yes, I know you're unfolding. I know you're growing. I know you're coming. I know you're manifesting. I know you're going to bear fruit 100-fold. I know you're going to do a lot of good in the world. I know you're going to bless and feed many people. You're giving focused energy to that seed, but you're also at the same time observing. Oh yeah, you little weed over there. I see you. You think you're trying to sneak up on me? Oh, you trying to get me behind my back? Okay. Focus is concentrated energy, and this is why we concentrate on what we want. We are concentrating energy and attention, and wherever your attention is, so goes your energy. Okay. Number 4, last page. We must now prune. Prune. Pruning means cut for growth. Cut for growth. It just doesn't mean cut. It means cut for growth. Okay? Finally, you must prune. At first, pruning looks like you are going backwards. When you're cutting something is growing out here and you have to cut it. It looks like you're going backwards. But cutting actually accelerates growth. When you prune dead branches or leaves, the energy that was going to those parts of the seed thought can now be channeled towards the ones that are growing with the most ease and will likely bear the most fruit. This is not cosmetic pruning to make everything look nice and symmetrical for outside observers. This is pruning according to where the energy is flowing most naturally. So when you see Mr. Miyagi in a bonsai trees typically don't grow symmetrically. Okay, you see him cutting, you see Mr. Miyagi cutting. Bonsai trees you're not cutting to make it look like a Christmas tree. Okay? You're not cutting to make it look perfect to outside observers or even yourself. You are cutting to get away dead branches and leaves, and you are allowing the energy to go where it's flowing most easily, most naturally. This is why a bonsai tree looks like this. That is the practice of maintaining a bonsai tree. You allow it to go where the energy naturally flows. You're not doing a cosmetic cut to make it look perfect. Okay? The pruning is according to where the energy is flowing most naturally. But pruning requires prudence because it's not just dead branches that a good gardener cuts. John 15:2 says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does not bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Even some branches of your idea, your business, or your life that are bearing fruit have to be cut so that they can reap more. The dead branches are obvious, but the ones bearing some fruit are the hardest ones to discern. Do you know, family, that I had a significant speaking business. I had a significant speaking business, speaking at colleges and companies. I had a significant speaking business, speaking at colleges and companies. And I had to prune that in order to grow my online teaching business. People were like, you crazy? You're not speaking at companies no more? You're not speaking at colleges no more? Nope. I had to prune. It was one of the hardest cuts because I enjoy speaking. I enjoy being on people's stages. But now look, we have over 600 people there, here, right now, every single morning. Instead of now going to other people's stages, I've been able to create my own platform, but I had to prune, and it was scary. But I was obedient, and I just wanted to stay in alignment, and God said, this is what I need you to do to have more impact. You don't need permission to go to anybody's stage and get the messages that I have for you out anymore. When you are ready to, when I tell you to go, you go. I told you in November to read your book out loud. Now look what has unfolded. Without using the language, without any organization, you essentially have one of the most powerful churches in the world. That's not what this is. I don't even like that word. We'll come up with another word. We're just a powerful community of rich and righteous folks. I didn't have to wait for somebody else's stage or platform. For 600 of us to be here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday. But I had to prune that lucrative business in order to be here. And the income that I was making as a speaker, it pales in comparison to what I'm able to create and generate now. The impact I was making as a speaker, public speaker on other people's stages, pales in comparison to the impact that I am making now. The dead branches are obvious, but the ones bearing some fruit are the hardest ones to discern. We're on page 314. We're almost done, family. Whereas weeding is internal, pruning is more external. In a business, this may look like firing a good employee to hire a great one, or an employee leaving a good Fortune 500 company to join a potentially great startup. In relationships, this may look like, listen to me, y'all. In relationships, this may look like leaving a good 5-year relationship for the possibility of something 5 times better. Some of you have settled for good. You think that good, this is as good as it gets. Never say that, family. Never affirm that this is as good as it gets. My life just keeps getting better and 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 better. Never, ever say this is as good as it gets, because what you're doing, you're literally putting a cap on your goodness. You are putting a cap on God. You're saying God can't do any better than this. Now, do we want to celebrate and appreciate what we have in the moment? Yes. But never say this is as good as it gets. In your diet, this may mean giving up being pescatarian to become vegan. In life, this could mean leaving a city you are familiar with for someplace brand new. All of these examples require you to cut ties and take you out of a comfort zone that is working for you, but not causing you to grow to your highest potential. I'm going to repeat that. All of these examples require you to cut ties or prune and take you out of a comfort zone that is working for you. It's working, but not causing you to grow to your highest potential. Last paragraph. As Mark 4:8 reads, still other seeds fell on good soil. It came up and grew and produced a crop, some multiplying 30, some 60, some 100 times. When we tend to our garden, God can plant thought seeds in us that bear good fruit 100-fold. Plant, water, weed, prune. This is your mental and material work as the guard inner of your life.
All right. This concludes day 45. Day 45 is officially in the books. Man, this was such a great segment, man. Such a great segment. Julian went over PWWP, plant, water, weed, and prune. Just think about that process. This is how manifestation takes place with this process. And these are things that you do every day and you're not even aware of it. But this book that Julian has wrote and these concepts kind of bring that to light and make you kind of pay attention to what's going on. We're always daydreaming. Thoughts are always coming in and out of our mind. Some stick, some don't. That's that plant process. When you get that, what he calls divine download, that thought process, that's when you're planting that seed. And if it's something that you really want to grow, then you're going to water it. Water it is nothing more than attention. You're giving it attention and you're giving it energy. That's where the water comes in at. Weed. We all have those negative thoughts come through our mind. We're going to have to weed out those negative thoughts. Expect them. They are going to be there. But you have to focus on the seed, where the seed is supposed to go, what the seed is supposed to eventually turn into, and weed out those negative thoughts. And then we have prune. That's where we got to cut some things in order to grow. There might be some things that hold you back that's stifling your growth potential. We need to prune those things and you need to be aware of it. This is your mental material that you're going to need to be a gardener of your life. Great segment, man. Make sure I get your takeaways. That's what my takeaway was. Plant, water, weed, and prune. It's a part of your everyday life process, as if you were a true gardener. Now you're gardening your inner thoughts, that business, that stock option, learning to do stocks, learning to do real estate. Plant that seed, water that seed, weed the garden, prune the final results. Day 45, man, officially in the books. If you're new and you enjoyed this segment, we have plenty more previous readings. Please go back and check out those readings. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man, so you can get those alerts on the next readings we have coming up. If you don't have the book, make sure you click the link below. Go ahead and get the book, man. This book is going to be valuable to you even when this challenge is over. To my committed readers since day one, salute. I appreciate you, and I know your life has changed the past 44 days. Day 45 officially in the books, man. Salute.